Hi, and in this video, I'm going to share 8 reasons that men fall in love. Hi ladies, Matt Shaffer, your empowerment, connection, and relationship coach. I'm a former attorney who's committed his life to supporting you in creating the sort of fun, fulfilling, dynamic connections and relationships with men that you're so worthy of. And I am super excited about this topic. I love working with my clients and students around the reasons that men fall in love and how to activate them. And we're gonna dive into that in just a second. But before we do, take a second, y'all, hit that little subscribe button and click that little bell. It really helps me in the YouTube algorithm to get this content out to more people so that everybody can have the relationships of their dreams. And don't forget to click that link in the comments and caption. I have created some great training that's gonna make a huge difference in your connections and relationships with men. So let's talk about men and love. So contrary to popular belief, men actually do fall in love, and in fact, they do so faster than women. That's what research has told us. So the question is, how and why do men make that leap and fall in love with you? It may be a little different than you're thinking. So I'm gonna outline 8 powerful ways and reasons that men do fall in love and become emotionally invested in you, and how you can activate them to help accelerate the relationship that you may be in, or one that you're gonna be in the future. And don't be shy, ladies. As I'm going through these points, sound off in the comments. Share your stories about what have been your biggest breakthroughs around why men fall in love, things that you've done and ways that you've connected with men that have allowed them to drop in and open their hearts for you. I think that some of the best engagement and some of the best breakthroughs we have in these videos are in the comments. So let's have a powerful conversation down there. So the first reason that a man falls in love with you is that he feels that he can just relax and be himself around you. And why is this so important? It's really important because in general, men, when they're getting into dating and relationship, they have this belief that they have to be this polished, exaggerated superhero version of themselves in order to get love from their partner. Does that sound familiar? But when we really start to experience a deep connection with a woman and truly feel seen for who we are, it helps us release that need to polish ourselves and just allow ourselves to be seen authentically in relationship. So how can you let a man know that he is enough just the way he is? You can start off by specifically and proactively acknowledging and praising his quirks or his weirdness or maybe things he's a little self-conscious about. Like you can celebrate his dad bod, right? Or you can tell him that it's sexy that he snorts when he laughs. Just look for things that he might feel a little self-conscious about and go out of your way to praise them. And it's really gonna make him feel good about himself. And another great way to let a man know that he's enough is to comfort and support him during his failures and hardships. And this is something that's really tricky for a lot of men because when we're going through a lot, when we're struggling, we have a tendency to isolate and to internalize and to take it all upon ourselves. So look for him to be struggling. Look for when he might be in pain, and don't be afraid to reach out to him, to ask him how you can support him, or just be proactive and do something that you know is going to make him happy, because a lot of times men define themselves and define their value by their successes. And when we fail, we feel devalued. So letting a man know that you value him, regardless of whether he succeeds or fails, is definitely going to make him feel like he's enough just the way he is. Another great way to help him understand how much you value him is to let him know how much you believe in him and his vision for his life. Every man who's up to anything in this world has a vision for the sort of life that they want to create. And sometimes one of the most inspiring things that we can get is the love and the belief and the support of the woman that we care the most about. So whatever he's up to in his life, if he's passionate about it, if he's operating with purpose, demonstrate to him, let him know that you support him in that, even if you don't understand it. And another great way to make a man feel like he's enough is to lead by example and be your own authentic, unpolished self with him. You might be surprised that you sitting on the couch, belching in a tank top, just like without your makeup on and your hair all crazy, it might actually be really hot and attractive to him. And it's probably gonna make him relax and feel much more free to be his own unpolished self with you too. And the second reason a man falls in love is that he feels emotionally safe with you. And I wanna start off by asking you a very simple question. Are you open to love? Sounds like an 80s song, doesn't it? Are you open to love? I know it's a simple question, but it's very important. Research has shown that men who can really feel that a woman is emotionally invested and emotionally open to him is going to be much more likely to fall in love with her. He's going to be able to reciprocate those feelings. And the first way to do this is don't make it hard to be loved. Be open to it. Remember, ladies, you are the conductor. So lead by example in being vulnerable and in showing him how you want to be loved by how you're loving him. It's one of the most powerful things you can do. Through the way that you're showing up, make a powerful, loving invitation for him to meet you in vulnerability and intimacy. And the second way to create emotional safety for a man is to praise him when he makes an attempt at being emotionally vulnerable. And this is so important because you got to remember, ladies, men have, for most of our lives, we've been conditioned to believe that emotional intimacy is weakness, that emotional intimacy creates pain and liability for us in our professional and our personal lives. So when it comes to emotional expression, men are like baby giraffes. You know, when a baby giraffe just falls out of her mama, she's wobbling around there on her feet like a drunk clown on stilts, okay? And that is how men feel a lot of times when we are being open and vulnerable. It is terrifying and awkward for us. So when you see a man making an effort, even if he's butchering it, even if he's saying things that you don't want to hear, right? It's important that you acknowledge and validate him and let him know how much you appreciate that effort that he's making. That's really going to help him feel that the relational container is a safe space that he can just fling his baby giraffe feeling statements into, knowing that you're not going to judge him or be reactive to them. And I know it might feel a little scary, ladies, to have to lead the way with vulnerability and then praise a man for his own vulnerability, even if he's saying things that maybe trigger you or drive you nuts. But it's important to realize, ladies, that you can't have your cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that is a lot of clients and students that I work with, they come to me and they say, Matt, I want to fall in love. I want to create a meaningful, vulnerable relationship with a man, and I don't want to risk getting hurt. I don't want to get hurt again. Sorry, that is not how it works. Love is a two-way street. If you want a man's heart to open, you get to be open with your own. And the third reason that a man falls in love is that he feels ready to emotionally invest in someone. And this is a really powerful narrative that most men have, that they need to have reached a certain level in their lives in order to be ready to be in a relationship. And this might be that he needs to have made a certain amount of money. He needs to reach a certain level in his career, or maybe he needs to reach a certain level emotionally, right? But men really do operate intuitively when it comes to relationship. And until a man feels ready to be in an invested relationship with you, it really doesn't serve you to try to push him or pull him into that space. Now, this doesn't mean that a man can't be inspired to be in relationship with you, right? That he can't be invited and evoked to fall in love with you. But don't make it a habit to have to work a man into a space of emotional investment with you. That isn't your job, right? It's your job to show up, be who you are, and have a man who is ready to be in a relationship with you want to take that plunge, right? And there are plenty of men out there that are ready, willing, able, and excited about getting into a loving relationship with you and are open to it. So get out there and let's find those worthy men. And a fourth reason that a man falls in love is that he deeply believes that he can make you happy. And that might sound like common sense, right? But a lot of men have created this narrative, right, that they're incapable of making a woman happy. And that can come from childhood and not getting love from their own mother, or from past trauma in relationships, or both. And if they have that story or trauma, they will often actively talk themselves out of emotionally investing in you because they've got some deeper belief that they could never make you happy long term. And this can really become a problem if you're resistant to opening up and being vulnerable with him, because checking out emotionally will become his safe space. So how can you help a man understand and really believe that he can make you happy? Well, I want you to ask yourself some questions. Are you acknowledging him with positive feeling statements for what he does for you? For example, I feel so safe and cared for when you hold the door for me. I love how you make me laugh. It feels so good when you hold me in your arms like that. Anytime he does something for you that makes you happy or makes you feel good, let him know in a light and playful way, and that'll help reinforce that belief that he truly does have the power and the capacity to light you up. Another important question is, do you smile and communicate non-verbally that you're happy with him, that he's done something that's made you happy? So are you smiling with him? Are you giving him great eye contact, right? These are all important non-verbal cues that if a man isn't feeling them for you, intuitively, even if you're saying the right words, he's going to start to feel like, she's saying I make her happy, but I'm not seeing it or feeling it from her, so I'm not sure if I trust or believe it. Remember, ladies, that men are not mind readers. It is crucial for the development of belief that he can make you happy that you let him know and reinforce it early and often with him. And the fifth reason a man falls in love with you is that you fit well into his current life. See, men will often be looking consciously or subconsciously to see if a woman fits into the current life he's got going as a basic standard to determine if he should emotionally invest in her. Because why should he go through all the trouble to be a baby giraffe and like get emotionally invested in her if she's just going to create conflict and complication in his life? And here are just a few important ways that you can fit or not fit into a man's life. The first is that you get along beautifully with his friends and family. And you'll be able to tell this because when you meet them, it'll feel like you've already known them forever, right? You'll just seamlessly fit right into the dynamic between him and the people that are closest to him. And a big reason that's happening is because you've probably already been talked about between him and the people that he loves. That's a huge sign that he's already getting emotionally invested in you to begin with. And the bottom line is, if his relationship with his friends and family is healthy and they love him and you make him happy, then they're going to be delighted to meet you and get to know you and bring you into the fold. And a second way that you fit or don't fit into his life is that your lifestyles match up well. For example, you have similar sleep schedules. Like if he's an early bird and you're a night owl, that's not going to work, right? For me personally, I could never be with a woman who stays up super late on a regular basis because my sleep is super important, and the earlier I get to bed, the better I feel. Or if you're a hardcore vegan and he's a carnivore who needs red meat on a regular basis, you're going to have a continual conflict point that's really going to make it tough to have a long-term relationship.
Oh, I'm sorry, you want red meat? Well, too bad you're gonna have to cook it yourself, because tonight's dinner is gluten-free pasta with marinara sauce.
And another important way that you fit into his life or not is that you have congruent beliefs and communication styles. And this brings up a story, right, where I had been on a number of dates with a girl that I was really attracted to, and then I came to find out that she had no real spirituality or spiritual practice, and that touch was not a primary love language for her at all. And this made me feel like we were two radio stations operating on completely different frequencies. And no matter how much fun I had with her intellectually in the way that we talked with each other, we just weren't connecting at a deeper level. And I found myself getting really kind of starved energetically in the dynamic in our relationship. It just didn't work, right? So it's important that if you want to be in a long-term relationship with somebody, that y'all have congruent beliefs and that you communicate the same way. So have those conversations, figure out each other's love languages and what beliefs you have pretty early on, because that will be a huge litmus test of whether or not this relationship has long-term potential and whether or not a guy is going to have the capacity to fall in love with you. And the last way that you two fit together or not is that you manage conflict in a similar way. Because here's the thing, y'all, conflict is inevitable in all relationships. The difference between a healthy and unhealthy relationship is that in a healthy relationship, conflict is managed in a constructive way. So you want to really check in and ask yourself, do we both manage conflict in the same way? Because say, for example, you're a talker who just likes to really work things out very calmly, and he's a high energy drama king when it comes to conflict. That is going to create a very tough pattern for you when it comes to any type of confrontation or boundaries in relationships. So that can be a thing that can be a sticking point that can stop a man from being able to feel safe and emotionally invest in you. And the sixth reason a man falls in love is that he sees his future with you. Remember, ladies, high-value men are vision-based creatures. We are builders. We are looking towards our future, and we're continually asking ourselves, is this person someone that I can see in my life down the road? Is this career something that I can see going the distance? Men are concerned with legacy and the future of their lives, right? So for a man to really fall in love with you, he has to see you as a potential part of his future. And he might even start building that with you in his mind and in his imagination. Bottom line is, ladies, a man will fall in love with you when he cannot imagine his future without you. And how to be the woman that he sees in his future? Use all the tips we've been talking about, and especially the one I'm about to talk about. And the seventh reason he'll fall in love with you is that you have a passion and purpose for your life greater than just him and the relationship that you two share together. Remember, ladies, men are looking for partnership. They are not looking for a woman that completes them. They are looking for a partner to do life with in a fun, powerful, expansive way. And a partner is someone who brings their own value and values to the table and is already committed to the passion and purpose of their own life. They have a high value life on their own. And the hard truth here, ladies, is that men are not looking to be the sole purpose or source of happiness in a woman's life. When he feels that way, the relationship becomes work. It doesn't become fun anymore, and that will actually oftentimes cause him to emotionally check out or just go through the motions. So have your own passion, your own purpose, your hobbies, the direction and flow of your own life. Bring the things that you're excited about into the relational container and share them with him. Not because you need him to be interested in them too, but to demonstrate that you are a fully realized, passion-driven person that is incredibly attractive to men, and it's going to be a huge part of him making that decision that, yes, this is a woman that I can fall in love with. And the eighth reason a man falls in love, ladies, is that he genuinely has fun with you. Such an important principle here is that all men are little boys at a deeper level. We want to have fun. We want to play. And never is that more important than in our relationships with women. So are you challenging him in a playful way? Are you gamifying, the things you're doing together? Most men have a competitive spirit, and one of the best ways to play with a guy is to engage that and tell him that you're gonna beat him at the sport that he loves the most, right? Or at a video game, or, just make everything a little friendly competition and see how he responds and activates to that. And another question to ask yourself when it comes to the fun factor in your relationship is, do you make him laugh? Like really laugh? Is there any laughter in your relationship between the two of you, or do you two keep it pretty even keeled? Laughter is a hugely sexy and activating force in relationship. And personally, if a woman can make me laugh on a regular basis, it just makes her so much more fun to be around, and I'm so much more attracted to her, right? So really ask yourself, is laughter a part of your relationship? And if not, how can you shift, right? How can you be more playful? How can you engage with him in a way that gets him to sort of just relax and loosen up and play with you? And another great way to have fun with a guy is to be spontaneous with him. Throw him the ball and say, hey, let's just go camping this weekend, or let's just go on an adventure, right? Be a source of spontaneity in his life, because for a lot of men, we do get very set into our habits and patterns of needing to do things in a certain way at a certain time. And you, as the feminine force in his life, one of the most powerful things you can do to bring more fun into his experience is to be that loving interruption to his routine and invite fun things into his life. That is an incredibly attractive and powerful way that you're adding value to his life, and he's going to start seeing you as someone that he can't live without. So there you go, ladies. 8 powerful reasons that men fall in love and how to activate them. The first one, of course, being that he can relax and be himself around you. Don't be afraid to be unpolished and be just your authentic, raw, raunchy, weird self with him, because that's going to invite him to lower his walls down and realize that he's enough just the way he is. Remember, that's what this boils down to, is helping him understand that You just want to see the real him. That's going to help him emotionally invest in you. And number 2, he feels emotionally safe around you because you have not been hard to love. You have been open and receptive to his vulnerability because you're leading with your own, right? And you've praised and acknowledged him for any vulnerability attempts that he has made to you. Love and pet that baby giraffe. And number 3 is he feels ready in his life to emotionally invest in someone. He's reached a level professionally and or personally to where, yeah, he can see someone in his life in a meaningful, romantic, long-term way. And remember, ladies, it's not your job to convince a man that he is ready. Don't put that on yourself. Allow yourself to be open to a man who's already in that space and is excited about going there with you. And number 4, he deeply believes that he can make you happy because you have created a space through acknowledgement and openness and the way you're showing up to him that he really has faith and trusts that what he's doing and how he's showing up makes you happy and that he can do that over the long term. And number 5, you just fit well with him, right? You fit into his life with his friends and family. You have congruent lifestyles in what you like to eat and what your patterns are, right? What your sleep schedule is like. And even in terms of your beliefs and your communication style and the way you manage conflict, the two of you, you're able to flow together. If a relationship doesn't have flow early on, there's no reason to think it's going to flow down the road, you know? And the 6th reason a man falls in love is because he cannot imagine his future without you. He sees you in his vision for his life long term. And that's something that you're going to build over time by consistently showing up as that loving, inviting, expansive force in his world. And number 7, you have passion and purpose for your life beyond just your relationship and your connection with him. Remember, partnership is not 2 people completing each other. It's 2 complete people coming together to grow and expand each other's lives through their union and their relationship. And so bring your passions and your interests and your hobbies and all of your excitement to the table and share it with him so he knows that your happiness is not his job, that you're already making yourself happy and you just want a partner on the journey. That is extremely attractive. It's going to take the pressure off him and make him feel a lot more willing and able to drop in and open his heart to you. And the 8th reason a man falls in love with you is that he genuinely has fun with you. The two of you laugh together, you play together, you compete together in playful ways, you tease each other, you call each other out. I mean, men love to be challenged in a loving way. We really do. Challenge creates investment. So really look at the way that you are in relationship. Are y'all laughing on a regular basis? And if not, how can you change that? It's going to deepen your engagement, it's going to deepen your intimacy, and it's going to create a fertile space for him to fall in love with you. So I hope you enjoyed these 8 tips and you go out there and you use them in your relationships to create deep, meaningful, powerful love. But before you do, take a second, hit that little subscribe button, and don't forget to click that link in the comments and captions because I have created some great training. It's going to make a huge difference in your connections and relationships with men. And don't forget to put in the comments, what are some of the ways that men have fallen in love with you? What are some of the biggest things that maybe I missed? I'd love to hear them in the comments. So be sure to sound off and let's keep this conversation going, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.